Good morning, Red Arrow, and happy Tuesday. Let's see what's cooking in the kitchen for lunch today.
Today for lunch we will have a calzone, a tossed garden salad, zucchini and yellow squash, peaches, and your choice of milk. Today is April 11th, and Robert Grimm is celebrating his birthday. We hope you have a great birthday, Robert, and don't forget to stop by the office for your birthday pencil.
Okay, a few announcements here. I apologize for these being late today. I was busy with some other things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get announcements done, so I apologize. First off, this is important probably for the grown-ups. No school improvement meeting tonight after school. Oh, yep, I know I heard all the groans from all of you who are planning on attending that. Looking forward to a good meeting. With our PD on Friday, I decided we don't need to have another meeting also this week. So no school improvement meeting. If you just want to show up and talk anyways, let me know. I'll be happy to sit and chat with you. Let's see. Mrs. Cowgill is here today, and she is filling in for Mrs. Canyu. And she's also, this is her first day. And so we're kind of helping her learn how to be a parapro, a teacher here at Red Arrow. So if you see Mrs. Cowgill and she looks like she could use some help, I told her that we have the best kids and the best adults anywhere, and we'll take good care of her today. So make sure we're being kind to her, and we're showing her that Red Arrow students are always safe, respectful, and responsible. Mrs. Stainbrook is also here again today, and she is helping out, for Mrs. Denton. Mrs. Sumners is helping in the office while Mrs. Babb is out today, and Mrs. Williams is helping out in the library. Today is Bible release class, about 12:20, 12:25. We'll call you down. Today is also Love My School Day. So yesterday I was going to walk around and it just didn't work. I had some meetings I didn't know I had to go to yesterday and some things happening. So I will be going around today though and getting some video information from some of you about why do you love our school? What do you love? Someone asked me yesterday, Mr. D, what do you love about our school? And my first answer I think is always we have so many different kinds of people here and so many cool people that add, and I learn something every day while I'm here at school because you can always learn from different people and new people. So that's why I love our schools, because we're so different, but we're all the same and we all get along well. So why do you love our school? After school, we have our after-school reading club for those second graders who are part of that. And I think that's everything I've got on my list. And I heard that we have in the video vault a little something from Mr. Hall welcoming spring, so we'll take a look at that. And then we'll also, I did put together a video, I meant it to be short, about my trip. It's about 7 minutes long. So teachers, if you want to fast forward, that's okay, because I know I get to talking like I am right now. So let's take a look at a couple of video clips, and I'll be back in a moment.
Hello, spring.
And here it is, what you've all been waiting for, an edition of Travel with D. So on my spring break vacation, I decided to take a train trip out west. I wanted to leave the state of Michigan and go somewhere else. And so rather than take an airplane or drive my car, I took a train. And so on Saturday, I went to Chicago to this big place called Union Station. This is the inside of that place where I was waiting. This is the outside. And I got to catch a train called the Southwest Chief. I didn't know if you knew trains had a name, but trains do have names based on where they travel to. And so this train was going all the way to California, but I didn't go to California. So when I got on the train, these are what seats looked like kind of in my area of the train, and boy was it crowded. There were probably, I don't know, like 100 people in the train car that I was on, and there were babies and kids and grown-ups and old people like me, and it was crazy. Noisy and hot. So it was kind of a weird way to travel. And when it was nighttime, because I was on the train 25 hours, that's more than one whole day. I didn't have anywhere to sleep besides my seat. So I stayed in this part of the train most of the time, and I got to go through states like Colorado, and I also traveled to New Mexico, and that was the state where I ended my trip on the train and got off of the train, was in New Mexico. And so the name of the city was called Albuquerque, and I like that's fun to say, Albuquerque. And so I stayed in a motel called Monterey Motel. It was an old motel, but I thought it was really cool because it had been around for a long time, and I like old things. And then I ate breakfast at this place called the Owl Cafe. You probably cannot figure out why it's called the Owl Cafe, can you? Then I went up to the Sedena Mountains. I love mountains. Water and mountains are two of my favorite things. And these are the Sedena Mountains, and I wasn't able to be there when the sun went down, but I was told they glow like the color of watermelons at night when the sun's going down. That would have been cool to see. So here are some pictures of the Sedena Mountains and part of the city. That's Albuquerque out there way back here. And then this was just another picture I took that shows the road I drove up in a car that I had to borrow, and then some of the mountains too. It was an awesome place. I love being in the mountains. But then I took a drive in this car that I borrowed, and I love old roads. If you've been in my office, you know I have some old signs and things. And the road I go on is called Route 66. It's a really old road, and there's fun stuff. I found a school that's called Route 66 Elementary. I never even knew it existed, so I had to stop and take a picture of the sign because it's really cool. And I was going to a town called, okay, listen to this name, Tucumcari. Is that not a cool name for a town? Tucumcari. And I stayed in another really old motel that was on Route 66, and it's called the Blue Swallow Motel. This motel was built back in 1930. I wasn't even alive yet when this motel was built. But it had a cool room. This is the room where I was at. You can see Buzzy, my drone. He came with me on this trip. And he was there on the bed. He thought the bed was his, but I had to tell him later on he could not sleep on the bed because that was mine. This was just one of the signs at the motel. It says Blue Swallow Court at night. They lit them all up, and they're called neon signs, and I think that's fun. And then I take pictures of old signs when I'm traveling because I'm weird like that, and I love old signs and old things. And this was just another motel in the town of Tucumcari. It was called Buckaroo Motel. So then, my last day of driving around, I drove to Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I drove there on a road called the Turquoise Trail. And that goes up a mountain. It goes around and around and up mountains. And it was a little scary because I'm afraid of heights. And there was no rail on the side of the road. And it kind of looked like I was a long way up at one time. So I got a little nervous, but I made it. But I saw some really fun things while I was driving. This was in a town called Golden. Do you see this gate thing back here? It's made out of old bottles. And I thought that was super cool. So I had to stop and take a picture of that. Because I think that's neat when people use bottles and things to make art. And then I told you I like signs. Isn't this a cool shaped sign? I don't know what it was for, but it's really cool. Right now it's in front of a restaurant, but that's just super cool. I loved it. And this made me laugh because it says Paradise Motel. And I always say just another day in paradise. Sometimes when people are asking me where I'm at or how I'm doing, and you can see that kind of looks like it's not really maybe a fancy paradise place, but I also like the fact, did you know that motels, people used to stay in motels a lot when they traveled, and they didn't always have TVs. And so this motel advertised that they have TVs. I think that's funny because today, I don't think you can find a motel without a TV. I saw this cool ranch on the road, on the Turquoise Trail, and I took a picture of the gate because I thought that was fun. And it says it's been there since 1937. And there were a lot of ranches all over the place because you're kind of in the desert and there's lots of cows and horses and things. And did you know, oh my gosh, I did not know this, that these weird cactus, right here, these are cactus, they get flowers. They bloom. It was the coolest thing I saw. I'm like, oh my gosh, so I had to stop and get a picture of that. So then it was the last day. So I stayed in a motel in Santa Fe, and I liked the light. I thought it was kind of cool. This was the light in my motel room where I stayed, and this was the door. I had lucky number 13. It was a good room, no bad luck. Next morning I got up, it was kind of chilly, so I was ready to go back and get on my train, but I was thirsty, and you guys all know what I like to drink. I like to drink Dr. Pepper. Look how big this bottle was. I was like, oh my gosh. So I took a picture of that and show Mr. Gill, because he likes to drink the same kind of soda that I do. Here I am, this is really me, and I am on the train ready to go back, but I'm not in the same kind of seat I was before. I decided to try something different. And I was in a little bitty room that only had 2 seats. Here's one of those seats, and here's the other seat. And that's where I sat for the train ride, and there was nobody else in there with me. It was kind of like a little bitty room, and there was a door that I could close. I called this my basement because there's a little shelf thing over here I can put something in, and you can see my coats hanging up, and there are pillows. And so we were going on the train. Now, these are some things that I saw. This was near the end of my trip. This was the Mississippi River. It's a big river kind of almost in the middle of our country, and I got to cross that, so I took some pictures of the river. This makes me laugh. This is a train station in New Mexico. Here's the name of the town, Raton. Now, if I know my Spanish words right, that means like rat or mouse. So I think it's funny. Why would someone name a city or a town mouse or rat? I thought it was funny. But this was the train station. And then this was the sunset on my night on the train in Colorado. Wasn't that beautiful? I just love a cool sunset. And then I got to sleep on the train. And this time I have a bed. Is this the same room? See these seats right over here and right here? They fold down and they put a blanket thing on top of them and it turns into a bed. And again, it was nice and quiet. I actually had my iPad, so I watched a movie in my quiet room. It was wonderful. And then I got back to Chicago and I came back home. So I saw lots of neat things and mountains and cool signs. And it was a fun, relaxing vacation. So what did you do during your spring break? Love to hear about it. Hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun putting it together for you to share just a little bit of what I did. I took more pictures than that, but if I would have shown every picture, oh my gosh, we'd have been here all day long. Because I take a lot of pictures. So I would like to hear what you did on spring vacation. And if you want to do that through a video or you want to draw it up in a picture, I'd love to see a way we can share that with everybody, maybe somehow on our Video Vault series. At this time, would you please stand for the pledge?
From Mrs. Howard's class to help us with the pledge, we have
Jaden, Mackenzie, Pablo. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pledge Helpers. That was a great job, and everyone have a great day, learners.